Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello students, how was your weekend? Here is another week. I'm Mrs. Akonde SA. I want to present WK7BSTJS2L1 Business Studies. The topic is cash book. Last lesson, we've been able to treat the single column cash book, and we've been able to know that cash books has two sides, debit and credit side, in which payments are recorded in the credit side and the receipt, any income received, are recorded in the debit side. Here now is another topic under cash book, and that is two-column cash book. Like I've said earlier, my name is Akonde SA, and my partner at the boarding college there is Mr. WK7BSTJS2L1. So, by two-column cash book, we call it two-column cash book because the cash account and the bank account are brought together into one book. The cash account and the bank account are brought together into one book. This is done in order to make it more convenient to put the account columns together, so that the recording of all transactions or all money received or paid out, either by cash or check, can be found on the same page. To make it convenient, so as to find the transaction received or paid, as in any money received or paid out, either by cash or check, on one book or the same page. That's why the introduction of two-column cash book is brought into existence. So, at times when buyers bought, or when the transaction involves huge sum of money that cannot be done by cash, a check is issued. Whether we buy or we sell goods, so check can be received or given. So, and when this is done, transaction has took place as well, and the payment has been done, whether by cash or using check. So when check are received, it will be recorded as well. The way cash received are treated, so it will be treated too. And when check is given as well, maybe the organization bought a particular goods and they make payments by check, it will be treated the way the cash given or cash paid is treated. So otherwise, so what I'm saying in essence is that check given out will be credited as well. So let's look at the format of two-column cash book. Like I've said earlier, it has two sides, debit and credit side, like that of single column. The only additional column here when compared to single column is that of bank column account in both debit and the credit side. So, as we know, the date column is meant to record the date in which transaction took place. Particulars is meant for the description of the transaction that took place. Folio is meant to record the page number. Cash column is meant to record the amount received. So bank column here is meant to record any check received as well. So ditto for the credit side. Date for the date transaction took place, description of the transaction that took place in the payment columns. Folio to record the page number. Cash paid out will be entered into the cash column in the credit side there, and check issued out will be entered into the bank column of the credit side as well. So let's look at the example. We have the following transaction we have to record the following transaction in the appropriate account using two-column cash book. The transaction started on January 1, the cash in office, we have cash in office, we have cash in bank, we have the organization issue check. Mr. Adaobi issue check to the organization and it was paid in on January 5 and so on like that. So therefore this one is going to the credit the debit side. The sales account debited R Aisha was paid is going to be credited in the bank column of the cash book and so on like that. So we'll be taking those transactions one after the other. So as we can see here, the cash book, debit and the credit side, the double column cash book. On January 1, the balance brought forward. The one in hand in office will be recorded in the cash column as 13.2 as we can see, and the one at bank will be recorded in the bank column of the debit side of our cash book. On January 5, the D. Adaobi issued check to the organization and was paid in. So because it is check that is paid into the organization, it will be recorded into the bank column and not cash because it is not the cash that were given. Then on January 6, sales in cash was made and it will be it will be entered into the cash column of the cash book here. Then another cash sales there, we have 3 cash sales there. So they are going to the cash column of the cash book as we can see from here. So let's move to the other side now. So on January 9, from the question, R Aisha was paid, and this is was paid with check. R Aisha was paid by check. So it's going to the bank column of the account here as you can see, with the amount in the bank column, because it is the check that was given to Aisha and not the cash. So Aisha will take the check to the bank to cash the money, and the money will be taken out from the organization's account. That's why the bank column here is credited. On January 6, wages were paid by check as well. That is 51,000 naira. Then on January 14, the purchases were made in cash. The following purchases, January 14, 17, 18, were all made in cash. Therefore, it will be recorded in the cash column. On January 20, Wakil was paid. Wakil was paid with the sum of 20,000 naira cash, and rent was paid in cash as well. Then January 31st, the bank charges was paid. This will be paid through the bank account and therefore is going to be credited and recorded in the bank column of the account. With this, we have posted all the transactions given to us in the question. So the next thing here is to find the balance carried down, as you are taught in single column cash book that for any organization that make profit, their income should be greater than the payment. So in this case now, you find the total in the debit side, then find the total in the credit side of each account. Having total of the cash account in the debit side, go to the credit side, find the total as well. The difference between the two will give you the balance carried down for cash column, as the total in the debit side of the cash the cash column is 114,600. So the difference between the total in the debit side and that of credit side of the cash column is 24,417, representing the balance carried down for the cash. Then the total for the bank column in the debit side is 80,750. So to find the difference between the two, to that of credit side is 7,300, and this representing the balance carried down for January 31st. So having the total for both sides to be equal to 146,600 for cash, 80,750 for bank. So the balance carried down this month, January 31st, becomes the balance brought down February 1st. And the balance brought down for cash is 24,470, and balance brought down for bank is 7,300. With this, we have done the necessary posting that's supposed to be done as regards the question. So if the question states further that you should extract or prepare the ledger from the cash book you have prepared, so like we did in the single column cash book, all items in the debit side of the cash book, we have their corresponding credit entry when we open the ledger. So also all items in the credit side, we have their corresponding debit entry when we open ledger for individual account. So this is where we stop for the first period, inshallah. So to proceed in the second period, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.